Hey everyone, so here are 12 tips for keeping a beta. I have my little guy right here in a community tank. The tank I have here is full of guppies. I have 7 guppies and their babies in here. Yes, I need to add water to my tank. I know it is sitting in the other room getting ready. Uh, so these are in no particular order, but here are 12 tips for keeping a beta in a community tank. And you do have to remember that all these tips may or may not work for you. It really depends on your beta, because each beta has their own personality. But here are 12 tips nonetheless. Again, no particular order here. First one is to hold a mirror up to a beta and see how they react to their own reflection. If the beta freaks out and starts going berserk at their own reflection, chances are they're going to be more aggressive and they might not get along in a community tank. And then just the opposite, if they don't seem to care about their own reflection, then chances are they're going to be just fine in a community tank. Of course, again, that's not always going to be true. You might have one that doesn't seem to care, but you put them in a tank with other fish, and they might attack other fish. But that is a good indication, though, normally, of how the beta is going to react to other fish. Number 2 here is going to be less colorful fish are usually going to be better. Betas seem to react more towards other colorful fish. So if you have very bright red fish or yellow fish or whatever, very bright colored fish, chances are the beta might try to attack other fish because they kind of think that it might be another male beta, might be another beta, so they kind of react like that. Uh, then next here is kind of going off of that is the smaller fins are going to be better, as again betas seem to think that if a fish has bigger fins it is another beta, and they're trying to attack and encroach on their territory, so they might attack fish with bigger fins. Let's see, then number 4, I believe we're on here, is I would recommend putting the beta in last. If they are in there first and you add other fish to it, well, that beta already has his territory, her territory marked, the entire tank's their territory. Whereas if they are the last fish in there, they don't actually have territory already to them. So they might not be as aggressive and they might not try to defend their territory because they don't really have territory yet. Hopefully that one makes some sense there. Number 5, here I believe is number 5, is longer fin betas are usually less aggressive than short fin betas. So placket, however you guys want to say that word for betas, that I've read before, and it does seem to be true, is that they are going to be usually more aggressive. They are usually the ones that are bred for fighting, hence the name Siamese fighting fish. So usually shorter fin betas are going to be more aggressive than longer fin betas. It also seems like longer fin betas, especially ones that have ginormous fins, are, I'm just going to say, a bit more on the lazier side. They don't seem to react as much as shorter fin betas. They don't seem to swim around as much. Again, that's not 100% all the time true, but it is a decent tip that does seem to be true a lot of the time. Number 6 is you do want to have a large enough tank, of course. So tank on tank like this one here is usually a good size to have other fish in with the beta. You see my guy, again, I just put him in right before this video, and he's still kind of checking out the other fish. He's not really attacking them, he's just kind of checking them out. But now if he was in say a 1 gallon tank or 2 gallon tank, try adding in other fish, chances are they are going to attack other fish then. Again, that has to do with their territory. They only have 1 gallon tank, the entire thing is going to be their territory. 10 gallon tank, they might not use the entire tank as their own territory. And then again, if you have fish that's going into beta's territory, they're probably going to try and defend it. So if you have a large enough tank, you should be better off at least than if you have a smaller tank. Again, 10 gallon tank seems to be a really good size to add in other fish. You can technically do a 5 gallon tank if you want to, just you might have more issues. The bigger the tank, the less issues you'll probably have here. Number 7 is I would add in good amount of decor. I think this has a whole bunch of fake plants It has this entire little decor thing, which takes about half the tank, and it just gives other fish as well as the betta space to get away from the betta or the other fish. And it gives them some hiding spots. They are chasing each other. They can get into the plants and away from the attacking fish. That goes both ways for the betta or the other fish, because like guppies sometimes will nip at betta's fins, just because, especially if you have a bigger fin betta. A lot of fish will do that actually, not just guppies, not just bettas. So having enough decor will give enough hiding spots and places for the fish to kind of get away from each other. Number 8 here is try to use less aggressive fish. Of course, if you're going to be doing a community fish tank, you're probably not going to be having very aggressive fish. But some community fish tanks can be like barbs, and barbs are usually very well known to be fin nippers. So I'd actually not keep a betta in with barbs anyway. But the less aggressive the other fish are, the probably better you're going to be off with your betta. That way the other fish are not attacking the betta. Number 9 here is going to be watch your fish for a little bit, like we're doing right now. Like I said, I just added my betta in here, my little baby betta in here, right before this video. And you guys can see he's not really attacking the other fish, but he is kind of following them around, kind of checking them out. Of course, he's not used to other fish. He's been in a tank by himself, and before that, he was in those little tiny cups that they come in at the pet store. So he's kind of checking everything out. Of course, he's not used to other fish. So you want to watch your fish for a while. And if they are like actually attacking, full-blown attacking other fish, or other fish are attacking them, you definitely want to take them back out and put them into their own tank. So make sure you watch your fish for a bit. Make sure no one's trying to kill each other. Let's see. Next, I would say do not use too tall of a tank. For instance, I've had multiple bettas in my 45-gallon tank. They just do not seem to do very well, and actually they end up, as sad as it is, they really do seem to end up getting sick or dying in very tall tanks. I'm going to guess the reason for that is because they do need air to breathe. They are laboring fish, so they do need to come up to the surface to breathe. And if the tank is just too tall, it can be hard for them to get up to that surface and breathe. So I'd recommend not using too tall of tanks. Some people might not have an issue with that, but every time I see them put a betta in a big, tall tank, they seem to have issues, for me at least. So I recommend using not too tall of tanks. So then we have 2 more here. So next is, of course, as I think most people know and most people have heard, is do not put 2 male bettas together unless you do use a very large tank. Even then, you couldn't have issues. But of course, as most people know, do not put 2 male bettas together in the same tank, because again, they're very territorial, especially with each other. So you just end up with fighting. Most likely, 99% of the time, end up with them fighting and trying to kill each other. So do not put 2 male bettas together. And last but not least here is going off of that is I would not recommend putting them in with gouramis. They are in the same family of fish, and a lot of times gouramis and bettas do not get along, just like 2 male bettas do not get along. So a lot of times they'll have them end up fighting with each other, and maybe even trying to kill each other. So do not put 2 male bettas together, and do not put gouramis and bettas together as well, because again, they'll probably end up fighting and trying to kill each other. So again, they are actually somewhat territorial fish. So yeah, so guys, let me know, what did I miss? Do you have any more tips? Leave comments below. What do you think of my list? I'm sure I missed some stuff. I'm sure I could add in more tips and, I guess, tricks to keeping bettas in with community fish. Yes, as always, I really do appreciate you all watching. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope you guys have a good New Year's, which is in a few days from now. See you guys next time, and have yourselves a good one. All right, goodbye.